Let's continue enabling budgetary control. Let me give you a brief overview of what we have got here for these options. We can budget to summary account in general ledger. Most of them say exactly what they are going to allow you to do. But we have the option to budget to the same level in general ledger as in budgetary control. So the summary account or the parent accounts that we are using for budgetary control will be available in general ledger if we enable that feature. Budgetary control to summary. The next one is a synchronized hierarchy maintenance. We can use account hierarchies within budgetary control and within general ledger. With those hierarchies, they can be the same hierarchies used in budgetary control and the general ledger. So if they are, then you can synchronize your hierarchy maintenance to maintain the account hierarchies that are used in both general ledger and the budgetary control with a single process. It will streamline your hierarchy maintenance. Third option is additionally budgetary control liquidation validation. You would enable, so we have enabled this one to fail budgetary control validation when the liquidation of a transaction doesn't impact the same control budget as it was originally reserved. So actually it does tell you what it is doing on there as well. The finally as secure control budget definitions. So we have got that enabled as well. So this is going to limit the users who can update control budget definitions on the manage control budget page. And as I say, we are going to talk about security within our budget as well. Let's go to now to application and check these options and other options. I just log into my username password, go to setup and security. Setup and maintenance. Choose financials and go to down and budgetary control and encumbrance account, manage budgetary control. This whatever we talked about previously about these four options. Now if we go to select my ledger, and this is our ledger that we are enabled it for. You can see here various checkbox, enable budgetary control for ledger and all journal sources and categories. This is where you would also come in, enable encumbrance accounting. So remember, you could just be using budgetary control, in which case you would just enable that checkbox. You could just be using encumbrance accounting, you would enable that checkbox also, or you have using both as we are and you take both boxes. And once you enable encumbrance account, you have to put the reserve of encumbrance account. Then the control budget filter. I was talking about that, and we have got is to set to ledger only or project or ledger or project. You could have ledger only, project only, or ledger or project. So if you are not implementing projects, then you would choose ledger only. If you are implementing projects but you need only budgetary control on the charge account, which may include project segment, then you can choose ledger only as well. If you are implementing a project and you need budgetary control on project attributes but not the charge account, you can choose projects. And if you are implementing projects, you need budgetary control on project attributes and the charge account, you can choose ledger or project. As I mentioned, this does work in conjunction with a field on the control budget setting. If we go to budgetary control validation failures, we have two options under this heading. Transaction budget date falls outside of date range across all account control budgets, and transaction without project attributes doesn't have a matching chart of account based control budget. Let's talk about these two. So budget dates, they can either pass or fail budgetary control validation, and these validations are based on whether they are within the period range of control budget that are past the defining stage but aren't permanently closed. By default, budgetary controls allow transactions with budget dates outside of control budget periods to pass validation. So, to fail these transactions during budgetary control validations, you set this transaction budget date falls outside of date range across all budgets. So you can set that option, but then there is more to it than that, because we also have these transactions without project attributes, don't have matching chart of accounts based control budget. So transaction without project attributes can have a budget date within the date or within the period range of all control budgets but not match a budget period for a chart of account based control budget. And that can happen if your control budget filter is set to either project or ledger or project, or you can have period range for your chart of account based control budget that is to either project or ledger or project, or you have a period range for your chart of accounts based control budget that's shorter than the period range for your project or control budget. Again, by default, budgetary control allows transaction without project attributes that don't match a chart of account based control budget to pass validation if this box is ticked. So, to fail transactions without project attributes that don't match a chart of account based control budgets, you have got to tick that box as well. So, you have got to have both of these ticked. We have only got to one ticked. Now I'm going to just take you for example in the next video as a diagram to show you how these two work together, just to try and explain it a little bit more for you. See you in the next lecture.